Good day, our dear pupils in class 10. Are you ready for English lesson? Well done. Please take your books and notebooks. Today we have lesson 1A, Uzbek literature consolidation, second part. Can you remember your home task was exercise 5 on page 156. It was text about Abdurrahman. So let's read it one more time, and we have activity on this reading task. Are you ready? Well done. Try to read with me. Fitrat was a famous member of Jadidist movement in Central Asia and in Uzbek literature a specialist in theory and practice of Jadidist school, a playwright and scientist. He was born in Bukhara in 1886. At first, he studied at old school, later in madrasah called Mir Arab. Fitrat lived in Bukhara and later he visited Turkey, India and Arabic countries. He also traveled to Moscow and St. Petersburg. During 1909 and 1913, he studied in Darul Muallimin. He made an organization called Bukhara Ta'lim Ma'rifa. Fitrat engaged in political activities after February events in 1917. He was elected to the revolutionary party called Yosh Bukharalilar. Fitrat adjusted equal relations between Russian government, but Amir's members and Bolsheviks didn't let his wish about independence. Therefore, in 1917, it was called Yurt Qayghusi. So, we have task. You have decided the sentence true or false according to the reading task. Let's read the sentence, then decide. The first one, Fitrat was a famous person in Central Asia. Is it true or false sentence? Good job. It is true sentence. What about second? Fitrat's birthplace was Bukhara. Thank you. This is also a true sentence. Third, Fitrat traveled around the world. Good job. This is also a true sentence. What about last one? His political activities was engaged after February events in 1917. Pay attention, his political activity. Yes, it is false sentence. So dears, open on page 157 and pay attention activity 6. In this activity, you have fill-in gap activity. You should fill in gaps with the words in the box. Here the words. You can see these words in the box in your textbook. Let's read. Instead, government, face it, practice it, military, attending, general. So, you have very interesting text about Tahir Malik. Let's read and try to fill in gaps. First, please look through the text in 10 seconds. Time is going. Have you finished it? Good job. Let's read in and fill in gaps. Tahir Malik was born in a family of workers. What do you think? What kind of word can fill in this gap? Good job. Government workers. Pay attention to the second. Malik, gap. Difficulties in his childhood in the aftermath of World War II. So, face it. Let's continue. These difficulties kept Malik from secondary school. Good job. Attending secondary school. The second part of this activity. He learned from his older brother and sister. We have gap here. Good job. Instead. So, Uzbek writer and interpreter Mirza Kalan Ismaili was his uncle who was killed by in 1949. Here, military. And Malik, gap, writing short tales and started writing in fantasy, again, which was new to Uzbekistan. Here you should fill in 2 gaps. 6. Practice it. What about 7? Good. Genre. After graduation, Malik taught in many schools and became the, again gap, director of Lenin Uchkunu. Okay, here, department. Then he worked in Republican teleradio for publisher Gulistan and for the Uzbek Writers Union. In this gap, union is suitable. So, and today we have to talk about passive voice because you need this knowledge in your home task. So, when do we use passive voice firstly? When we don't know who does something, or when we don't want or need to say who does something. Here you can see the structure. Subject plus to be plus past participle. Verb 3. Let's learn how we can change active sentence into passive. Here, someone stole my sister's bike yesterday. So, someone is subject in active sentence, stole is main verb, my sister's bike is object. We use active sentence object as a subject in passive sentence. So, my sister's bike, this is our subject in passive sentence. Then we need to be. To be can show the tense of passive sentence. How we know it? Pay attention to the verb, to the main verb in active sentence, stole. It is past simple verb. So, you should use to be in the past. My sister's bike. We have to use for this one was. Then, we need past participle. Again, pay attention to the main verb in active sentence, stole. For this one, past participle is stolen. Then you can use the time expression yesterday. My sister's bike was stolen yesterday. My sister's bike, subject, to be, was, past participle, stolen, and time expression. Let's practice. Here you can see some sentence, but they are not the right sentence. Let's correct the mistakes together. The first one. Every year, several prizes are given to the best students. Please read the sentence one more time. Can you find the mistake? There is one mistake here. Did you find? Well done. Let's correct it. Not giving, but given. Because according to the structure, we have to use past participle, verb 3. Giving, it's just verb plus ing. So pay attention to the second one. When the pizza was delivering, it was cold. So, could you find the mistake? Again, the same mistake. Not delivering, but delivered. It is past participle. The third one. That song doesn't play it on the radio very often. Did you find the wrong part of this sentence? Yes, auxiliary verb. In this sentence, we use isn't, not doesn't. What about first one? Your room was painting out of. Thank you. Not painting, but painted. So, by and with in passive voice. You can tell the owner of the action in passive voice if you want. With by. We can use by to emphasize who does something. For example, the telephone was invented by Alexander Bell. Alexander Graham Bell. We can use with to emphasize what someone uses. Example, soup is usually eaten with a spoon. For person, we use by. For things, we use with. Let's practice. The first one. That book was written my uncle. My uncle, it is a person. So, by. Second, is your haircut a professional hairdresser? Again, you can see professional hairdresser. The person we use by. What about third? The paper is cut a pair of scissors. A pair of scissors, it is a thing. Sure, with. Again, it is time for practicing. Please open your notebook and write down an activity. Here you can see active sentence. You should change it into passive sentence. 20 seconds enough? Okay, time is going. Abdurrauf Fitrat wrote the textbooks Uzbek literature and Uzbek language. Have you finished it? Let's check in that case. The textbooks Uzbek literature and Uzbek language were, pay attention to the first part, is a subject for our passive sentence. The textbook Uzbek literature and Uzbek language. We have to use to be, were, why? Because our subject is not singular, plural. We have two textbooks. It is active sentence in the past. We can see wrote, were written by Abdurrauf Fitrat. So dears, it is time for your home task. Your first home task, as usual, make a list of vocabulary which you have learned today. Second, make a report about writers in Uzbekistan. Word limit from 80 till 100 words. In your report, try to use passive voice, passive sentence. If you can, you may record your report and send your teacher. If it is difficult for you, you can just write and send your teachers. So keep your mind You can contact your teacher if you face difficulties. Please do not hesitate about it. I wish you success in your studying. Thank you for your attention.